We've got some breaking news that we also want to bring you out of the United States. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's former associate, that sentencing has come down. She's been sentenced to 20 years in prison. In December, a jury convicted Maxwell on 5 counts against her, including sex trafficking, transporting a minor to participate in illegal sex acts, and 2 conspiracy charges. Maxwell has denied abusing anyone. Her lawyers had asked the judge to impose a sentence of no more than 5 years, while prosecutors say she deserved at least 30 years behind bars. Criminal defense attorney Bruce Barquette joins me now from New York. Bruce, appreciate your time. Okay, so your reaction now, looking at this case. This is a massive case, of course, coupled in with Epstein. 20 years now is the sentencing that's come down. What are your thoughts?
Well, it wasn't surprising. The judge ended up finding that the guideline range was between 15 and 19 years. And after a trial, a defendant in the United States can typically expect to be sentenced at the high end of the guideline range. Here, the judge actually went a year beyond it to 20 years. But keep in mind that the government was asking for 30 years. So in some ways, the judge built in, I think, some buffer for any possible appeal, at least on that issue.
Do you anticipate there will be an appeal?
Absolutely. There actually is a substantial issue concerning her conviction based upon the juror, I don't want to say misconduct, but the juror misrepresentation of whether or not he was sexually abused. And that is a substantial question. The court ruled in favor of the government, saying that it would not have affected the verdict because after the verdict, the juror said it was fair and impartial and could remain fair and impartial, and that he did not deliberately mislead the parties when he answered a written questionnaire denying that he had ever been sexually abused. And we now know that, in fact, he was sexually abused. So Ms. Maxwell was tried by 12 jurors, one of whom misrepresented facts about their history, which seemed to go to the core of the case, which is whether or not the individual was ever the victim of sex abuse.
So if this appeal goes through, if they win the appeal, walk us through what then happens next. I mean, I'm assuming that you're going to have a retrial.
Yeah, well, I mean, you certainly can.
Yeah.
The government is free to retry the case. Ms. Maxwell is free to insist that they retry it. And that's probably what would occur here. Given the various, the publicity and all the effort that went into this, I can't imagine that the 2 sides would come to an agreement to avoid a second trial, but you never know. After several years in prison, maybe Ms. Maxwell is willing to accept a guilty plea, and maybe to avoid a second circus-like, which this trial certainly was, circus-like atmosphere, the government would be willing to plead the case to substantially less time. In federal court in the United States, however, it's complicated because ultimately the judge gets to decide on the sentence, and the range here, I think, is 55 years is the maximum. So even if the parties said, look, we'd like to work this out, the court would have to approve it. And typically in federal court, the judges don't get involved in plea bargaining until, in fact, they're prohibited from getting involved until after the plea's been entered. There's one exception to that where the parties come to the court and say, we've agreed upon a sentence, and we agreed that the sentence here should be X, say 10 years. And the court then can accept that recommendation or reject it.
What do you think this means, this says for the victims? That they clearly are not going to have any kind of closure in this. If this now goes to an appeal and perhaps gets retried or things are getting rehashed out, I mean, it's the constant re-victimization of these women.
Well, they were victimized, undoubtedly. And I paused at the re-victimization. They've testified at the trial. The jurors believed them, or at least most of them. And this individual was convicted. What happens after that, whether or not the case has to be retried again, and if they have to testify again, that's one of the factors that the government can choose to rely upon in saying, look, we're going to offer her a reduced plea in order to avoid a second trial and the second, what I described as a circus, but you correctly point out, Also, the victims would have to go through testifying again.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy process for anyone.
No, it certainly isn't. All right, so 20 years right now. We'll keep a close eye on whether that appeal comes through or not, but certainly a massive case here with still many, many layers. Indeed.